Central Denison. This is Mrs. Corna coming to you from the library. Today we're celebrating Tourist Tuesday. So I bet you're at home dressed up in your traveling gear like you're ready to go explore the world. Today I'm going to help you explore the country called France. I'm going to share with you this book called France from the series Countries We Come From. France by Adam Markovics. This is a non-fiction book. Here's the table of contents. This is France. Stunning, stylish, friendly. Welcome to France, one of the largest countries in Europe. More than 64 million people live there. France is about the same size as the state of Texas. Sacré-Cœur Church in Paris. France has towering mountains. Europe's tallest mountain, Mont Blanc, is located there. It rises more than 15,700 feet. Along the southeast coast of France are beautiful beaches. There is rich farmland throughout France. Many farmers grow grapes to make wine. Some of the grapes are used to make a bubbly wine. It's called champagne. Farmers also raise cows, sheep, and goats. Their milk is used to make 400 kinds of French cheese. Early humans first lived in France about 1.6 million years ago. In southwest France, there are ancient paintings inside caves. The paintings are around 20,000 years old. The cave paintings show horses and other animals. This shows visitors inside a model of one of the ancient caves. For most of its history, kings ruled France. In 1789, the people of France took back power during the French Revolution. Afterward, France became a free country. Napoleon Bonaparte was a famous military leader. He ruled France from 1799 to 1815. The capital of France is Paris. It's also the country's largest city. More than 2 million people live there. The Eiffel Tower soars above Paris. It's one of France's most famous landmarks. People like to wander Paris's winding streets. They may stop to sip coffee at one of the city's many outdoor cafes. Then they might grab a crusty baguette at a local bakery. Paris has some of the best bakeries in the world. The main language in France is French. This is how you say please, s'il vous plaît. This is how you say good night, bonne nuit. More than 75 million people speak French worldwide. French food is famous around the world. People enjoy golden, flaky croissants. Macarons are French almond cookies. They come in a rainbow of colors. Thin pancakes called crepes are cooked on a hot griddle. Which sports are popular in France? Crowds line the streets to watch Le Tour de France. It's the most famous bicycle race in the world. French fans also enjoy soccer and basketball. There are hundreds of art museums in France. The biggest is the Louvre in Paris. The Louvre used to be a royal palace. It holds the famous Mona Lisa painting. Is she smiling or not? France is the most visited country in the world. Around 80 million tourists visit the country each year. The Palace of Versailles is a popular place to visit. It was the home of King Louis XIV. Here are some fast facts. The capital city, Paris. The population of France, more than 64 million. The main language, French. The money, euro. The major religions, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish. Neighboring countries include Belgium, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Monaco, Spain, and Switzerland. And here's a cool fact. The average French person eats 500 snails each year. And that's the end of our story. Bonjour, Central Denison. It's Tourist Tuesday, and we're celebrating a trip to France. Today we're going to make some famous French cookies called punitions. Punitions are made at a famous bakery in Paris called Poilâne. This isn't the exact recipe they use at Poilâne, but it's pretty close. Here are the tools that you'll need to make punitions. You'll need a hand mixer and a medium-sized bowl. You'll need a measuring cup, a measuring teaspoon, and you'll also need a spoon. You'll need some plastic wrap, some wax paper, and a rolling pin. You'll also need at least one cookie cutter. You might use more than one. You'll also need cookie sheets, and it would be best if you could line them with parchment paper. So here are the ingredients you'll need to make punitions. You'll need flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. Now, punitions that are made in France are made with just those 4 ingredients, but they have really excellent butter in France. Our butter's good, but it's not quite that good. So to add a little bit of flavor, we're going to add some salt and also some vanilla. First, we'll place 10 tablespoons of butter into a medium-sized bowl. That'll be 1 full stick of butter, and then 2 tablespoons from another stick of butter. You can cut it through the wrapper before you open the wrapper. Next, we'll mix with the mixer until the butter is light and fluffy. Now we'll add 1/2 cup of sugar and continue mixing with the beater until it's fluffy and combined. Now that the butter and sugar are light and fluffy, it's time to add an egg. We'll combine the egg with the beater. Next, we'll add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Finally, we'll add 2 cups of flour. Now these should be combined until they're just crumbly. Next, we'll divide the dough into 2 parts. Each part will go on a sheet of plastic wrap. wrap the plastic wrap around the dough, and you'll make a disc of dough that's going to go into the refrigerator for 4 hours or overnight. After your dough has chilled for 4 hours or overnight, you'll take it out of the refrigerator. Pull off a large rectangle of wax paper and fold it in half. You'll be rolling the dough in between the two sides of the wax paper. Take your disc of dough and unwrap it and place it on the wax paper. Fold the wax paper like a book, and then you're ready to roll it with your rolling pin. Again, this is a good time to have a helper to make sure that your wax paper doesn't slide around when you're rolling. And you want to roll this out until it's about a 1/4 of an inch thick. Once your dough is rolled out, you're ready to cut it with your cookie cutters. Now it works well if you dip the cookie cutter in a little bit of flour so that it doesn't stick to the dough. And you want to get as many cookies out of the dough as you can. It might be fun to think about cutting one right out of the middle of the dough first, but then it can be hard to fit as many as possible on that one slab of dough. It can be helpful to use a spatula for this step. These shouldn't spread out much at all on the pan, so they can be kind of close together. Those extra bits of dough that are in between, we can re-roll and cut again. So we'll just push this dough together again. And put it in between that same section of wax paper and roll it again. Now our tray of punitions is ready to go into the oven. We'll preheat the oven to 350 degrees. You might be wondering why these delicious little butter cookies are called punitions. Punitions means punishments. And the story goes that a French grandmother would go to her grandchildren and say, "Come here, you're in big trouble." And then when the child would come close, she would hand out a plate of these little cookies, and it would actually be a treat. Thank you for touring France with me today. If you liked the book about France, you might like to read about Italy, or Nicaragua, or maybe Syria. I think it's time for us to give these punitions a try. Bon appetit!